Well, folks, it's time for another Aliner rally. This time we went to the southwestern corner of Pennsylvania to a very huge RV park, but we held our own. We took up a big section near the middle, close to the bathrooms, and everybody had full hookups, but we had a total of 70 campers. We had 18 singles and the rest were couples. But the good thing about the Aliner is it really isn't a family thing. So not a lot of kids and not a lot of people under 30. The resort was definitely huge. We did a couple of flybys with the drone so you could see all the different types. And then we went around one by one and looked at some of the ones. And we'll have a quick photo shoot of all the ones that were interesting. Here's one with an interesting bicycle rack on it. And then here's my friend Joe Depew from Plattsburgh. I thought he was in Alaska. There were a lot of solar modifications. Here's a guy with I don't know how much solar that is on his dormers. Dave Michaels showed everybody how he takes his air conditioner in and out so it doesn't get road weary and it doesn't take up space when he doesn't need it. His just slides in and out, mine screws in and out. Of course, every Aliner rally has a dinner involved. And people get really excited, so this is the dinner, which this time was paid for by the Aliner factory people. Now we had Lynn T., who was the communications person for 10 years, and Dave made it clear to her that we knew it was her birthday this weekend, so everybody sang happy birthday, and we had cupcakes to celebrate. And there were a lot of activities as usual at every rally. This time for something different, there was a knitting circle. And then of course there was the do-it-yourself. And here's a quick shot of all the different campers and awnings and setups and everything for you to look at. And then Sunday afternoon, we went to the Aliner factory for a tour of the factory. The production wasn't on because they get Sundays off, but we got a pretty good look around the shops and the materials they use, and they explained some of the ways they put things together, like the sidewalls and the roofs and things like that. And got to see what a frame looks like on a modern Aliner, a little different than it looked like 5 or 10 years ago. But there was also a lot of good questions asked by people about how things are put together and how to repair certain things. And they gave us a whole lot of information about the Aliners and the different parts and how specialized they are and things like that. Here's the assembly line of the actual Aliner going down the line, and they put the frame upside down and put the axle on it. Then they flip it over and put the box on top. The box is assembled upside down and then flipped over and put on the frame, attached to the frame, and then they put the hinges and the sheet metal on the front and corners, and they drill the holes in for the the springs, but they use those holes to figure out any warpage in the side walls and the door walls, and make sure that everything's square. And then they move down the line to the cabinetry, and they put all different cabinetry is available, and they make them one at a time. They don't batch them. So one of these is a Scout, one of these is a Ranger, one of these is a Expedition, and every one is made uniquely to the order sheet that they've got, so that dealers order them in a varied models and varied options, and so every one that comes off the line may be going to one dealer, but they're all different. So they don't batch them, which I thought was too bad, because it would make it a lot easier to put them all together looking the same and equal, and figuring out what the quality is. These are this is the electrical units, and those are the converters, and putting in all the electrical components and wiring things up. They do have qualified electricians, I guess, although I noticed some of their factory wiring wasn't so hot. It's an old factory, and that they add a lot to it. This is a big Expedition with the cabinetry, the supporting cabinetry in, and then they put it up on a lift to put in the propane lines, and those all go outside until they get to the appliances. And that's the drain for the hot water tank. Or that's the drain for the water tank. And I'm underneath this when you're not supposed to be underneath it, because of course it's up in the air. And this is the way the axle's attached, in case you've never seen that. And this is where they make the roof panels, and they put the roof panels all together with the wiring and all that. And before they put the bubble windows on it, they test all the wiring to make sure that they've got it all together, and all the flanges and hinges and everything are attached without puncturing any wiring. So they test them all, and then they put the windows on with a special type of glue. And he was explaining to us that the foam, the interior foam in the lamination of the walls and stuff, is eaten by a lot of glues and products. And these are the two things they use. They use Sikacil for a lot of things, and they use that other 836 or whatever it is for the windows. That's a special just for the windows. And this is some of the finished ones that are set up and being inspected, and kind of running through some of the electrical to make sure everything works. They don't apparently hook these up until the dealer must hook them up, because I saw them on the truck with them hanging down, and I guess that's because they don't want them compressed so they last a little longer. And this is one of the new models, the Escape by Aliner. And these are pretty neat. They're a full stand-up, no pop-up to this. This is a little mini trailer. And again, it's a very lightweight trailer. They try to put it together with real lightweight components, but it's got a great big 6,000 watt air conditioner, and it's got everything with the microwave and furnace and refrigerator and stove, and it's got a little porta cassette toilet that goes with it. And then I noticed that on the front they've got solar on these things, and they're on all of them. And I asked the guy if they were going to put solar on the regular A-liners, and he said he couldn't tell me. That's a secret they've been talking about. But that's a pretty good tour of the A-liner factory, and you should have been there. Okay, Stone Villa Wine Cellars. A very neat looking building, of course. It's, as usual, they're fairly elaborate and ornate. But this one has a nice free tasting room. We get, I think, six wines to taste. And then you can buy a bottle or so and sit out on this neat patio veranda, listen to music in front of a pond. So that's really cool. We got here just as they opened, and they don't have anybody here yet, but the guy's telling me that in another 30 minutes it'll be packed, and they'll be parked on the grass and all over the road and everything. But it's a pretty nice looking place. People bring their own tables and chairs. Plus they have their own chairs here. It is pretty neat. So that is the patio. And there's no restaurant or anything here. People just bring their own stuff and they just let them go. But there's a bandstand down in the front. And it's a big grassy lawn. It's cool.